Hey Writers, it's Mrs. Niederklein. This video is to help you guys plan out some comparisons for colleges and looking at different financial aid options, and could be a tool that would help you. I know you're thinking another video, but this deals with your education and with money. So hopefully parents or students that this could be beneficial. If you have any questions or you are looking at something else, please let me know and I will be able to help you however you need to. First of all, I'd like to give credit to, let's see, where did I borrow this from? Admit. And I changed several things and added my own and added some things, but I stole the baseline from them, so got to give credit where credit is due. Okay, so first thing you're going to do, students, you will have this in your Google Drive. It will be a view only, so the first thing you'll need to do is go to File, make a copy, name it with your name, so that way you have that. And so here is mine that I have included, and I want to look at 3 schools. It has 6 on there. You can add extra columns if you want to. You can do whatever. This is on your own copy. So I want to just look at 3 schools. I want to look at Northwest Arkansas Community College, I want to look at Quebec Community College, and I want to look at PSU. So those are my 3 that I've narrowed down to. I have information. So first thing is going to be making sure that you have your financial aid, your FAFSA done, and you have a SAR, a student aid report. And on that SAR, it should say what your expected family contribution, your EFC, is. It should also indicate if you are eligible for any Pell Grants, work study, or anything like that. So that is where this is going to come into play. Please keep in mind whenever you look at your student aid report, those numbers will be for the entire year. This is categorized by semester. So whatever that is, your total, you would need to make sure to divide that by 2 for first and second semester. So let's say if you're eligible for Pell Grant, the maximum for the 2021-22 school year for Pell Grant is $6,345. So you would divide that by 2. You come up with $3,172. So that's what would go there if you were full Pell eligible. Now, that's going to go in each column. Okay. So whatever, if you have scholarships, if you have grants, whatever free money that you do not have to pay back would be right there. Also, you can, on your student aid report, should also be the portion that talks about work study. So if you are eligible to have a job in a library or in a specific office, something like that, your work study would go into there as well. So I'm going to say that's kind of a common number. Again, that's only from your FAFSA, and you had to have marked that yes, work study, and that information. Freshmen, as you go into your freshman year of college, students are only allowed $5,500 in loans for those loan programs. So in your yellow folder, there is a sheet. Yeah, I have it here. There is a portion here that I included that has, it's green towards the back, and it talks about the different types of loan programs. So subsidized and unsubsidized loans and how much you would be able to receive from that. So direct subsidized Stafford loan is the $5,500. And I want to avoid taking loans at all possible, so because I don't want to pay them forever. But it would be there. I'm going to include that in a different section. Okay, so now I need to look at my college choices that I have. So NWAC, Northwest Arkansas Community College, and it is, I like it back. It is located in Northwest Arkansas. It was kind of where I used to live, but in Bentonville, and a lot of people, I spelled that, who knows? Okay. want to go to their fees and tuition website. So looking at NWAC in Northwest Arkansas, again, I just chose a random college. This is on you, but I'm showing you how to do it. So NWAC has per credit hours that you have to have. Their out of state is $150 per credit hour. And let's say I'm going to take 18 credit hours. So that's $2,700. Let's see about other student fees. Oh boy, per credit hour. This. That's tuition, and fees are totally different. So I'm going to put down $2,700. Going to pause and then come up with my other response. Like the additional fees are about $30 per credit hour. So $30 times 18 credit hours is $540. And then per semester, I have a registration and an infrastructure. So another $65 total. So I'm going to take my, this right here is tuition and fees. And I noticed I put on their flat rate or cost per credit hour. So you really have to figure out, you have to know your college. Is it a flat rate tuition, which means the fees and tuition are all included, or is it specific, just like we saw with NWAC? So if I had the $2,700 for tuition and $540 for fees and another $65, so I'm looking at $38.45. Okay. Room and board. You have to have a place to live and you have to eat something. That is going to be necessary. NWAC does not include, they do not have housing available, so it would have to be off-campus housing. So you would have to go to another site and look for a place. And really, there's a whole other budget where you would look for your rent and your bills and all of that stuff, plus your board, your food. So those would be included in there. I'm not going to include that because that's going to be something a little bit different. Books, I'm going to say, they typically say about $1,000 for books and tuition, and supplies. Could be more or less depending on your classes and also depending on if you borrow or download those books as well. So now I'm going to go to Quebec Community College and I'm going to go to their tuition and fees page and look at their tuition. So Labette, again, is per credit hour. And then you have their tuition plus their fees. So all of that is included. And for Kansas resident is the $109 per credit hour. Okay. So I'm going to go back to here. 109 times 18 is 1962. Again, their housing, they do have housing that is off-site housing that you can look at, and again, you would have to go through that. Or if you were going to the Cherokee Center, if you were going to drive back and forth, but you do have to have a place to live, and you do have to have food to eat. So there should be something in those columns. Okay. Looking at Pitt State. If I look at Pitt State's tuition, they do have a flat rate tuition, and it includes tuition and fees. This next would be tuition and fees if you took under 9 hours. So at Pitt State, the more hours, it doesn't matter, you're going to be charged the same. So $3,872. Okay. Pitt State does have their housing and academic rates for housing and dining rates. So know that they are subject to change. So you would have to look and see where, looking at what you were wanting to do. These are listed by semester. So per semester, or they're listed by the year, excuse me. So per semester plans are half that rate. So if you did, let's say for room and board together, let's say an even $5,000, okay? So, and, you know, let's just include the same thing on each thing, just so we have a baseline. If you live off campus, it's definitely going to be more. If you live at home, it's definitely going to be less. So that way we can just get a baseline then here. So what this does is then it finds your total cost for the first semester, and then it subtracts whatever grants, scholarships, free money that you have, and then you can see what you would need to do, what's required for the first semester. Now, part of that reason that is all so high is because I put that in there too. So if we took that out, you could really see the cost of attendance for tuition and books. You still have to eat and live somewhere, so that definitely does need to be included in there. But if you take out if you were Pell eligible, you could see what your out-of-pocket expense would be. If it's a minus, then that would be, if it's a negative, then you would be reimbursed that amount. Several things that you have to be very, very careful with, looking at colleges and seeing how do they charge, by the semester or by the hour, or is it a flat rate? How are the housing and meal plans? What other options are there? What grants and scholarships would you be eligible for? There are also for future years that you can have that too. Grants and scholarships, they change every year. So each year, the maximum amount from the Pell Grant changes. Also, if you receive local scholarships or scholarships, most of those are only for your first semester of college. So I see kids that get several $1,000s their first semester of college for in scholarships. When it comes time for that second semester, those aren't there. So you really need to make sure that you're planning and getting that straightened out. Also, whenever you're applying for scholarships, look to find out, are these renewable? Is it a one-time only scholarship? How does that work and how does that look? You can definitely look for future years. One thing to know, tuition rates change, costs change, and then also scholarships and grant amount changes. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get the full year. But this gives you a good baseline so that you can see those numbers. Naturally, your housing and food is going to be dependent upon where you live. So you need to be very careful with that and realistic. There's another column here called other expenses. So you definitely need to look at that. Most college students don't just go to class, to their dorm, and then to the cafeteria. Most go other places other than that. So other expenses probably need to be added in there as well. So if you have questions, you need help, you want any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you later.